October 18th to October 22nd. So if somebody, you board members can give me availability during that time, we can set up a, at least 2-hour budget workshop meetings so that we can review. The budget worksheets have been distributed to all budget managers. They are submitting their responses. We have one for highway, one for general, one for sewer, one for water. And the sewer has 3 different districts. The water has one. So we go through and we look at, purchases, especially for equipment, stuff like that. And we look at reserve funds. We look at capital reserves, and we look at, what we can do for next year and what our revenue source is going to be and what our expenditures are going to be, and come up with a budget. So as you know, we have to consider, passing that, usually in November. The problem is that Thursday, November 11th is a Veterans Day. The town hall is closed. I don't know if the board members want to change that date to a different day because of the holiday, or if you just want to meet on Veterans Day.
I'd be okay backing it up to the 10th.
Wednesday, the 10th. Anybody have a problem with that? We have to advertise because when we advertise at the beginning of the year, we advertise, so we'll do an advertisement. So Rick, do you have a conflict as our attorney with your schedule? Wednesday the 10th instead of Thursday, November 11th. And when is election day this year? Is that the
3rd, I think.
the 3rd?
No, second.
Second, okay.
No, I'm good.
Very good, okay.
In that October thing, I'm okay anytime, unless some emergency comes up.
Okay, so we'll look at Fred's schedule and we'll talk. And
Yeah, I'm out of town the 27th, but those times I'm good.
Yep,
So we are
okay.
moving into November 10th. or regular
Yes,
meeting?
yeah, we'll move to November 10th, and I'll ask 4 o'clock, and I'll ask Tammy to advertise that now, and we'll get it in the paper, so we'll have plenty of notification for that meeting for November 11th.
And you're gonna tell us on the October date.
Yes, I'll give you the dates and times of the, I'll send the dates and times out to everybody. We'll put it on our website, and Missy and Mickey will, Melissa and Mickey will, I'll make sure that you folks are totally aware of that, so you will be able to participate in that as well. So we'll do that. Does anybody have any questions on new business? Going to old business, the final invoices have been submitted in this month's vouchers. The vouchers are over here. Please make sure you sign the monthly reports right there in the green binder. And all of the vouchers are right there. But in those vouchers, we have the final payments for the micro system permanent project that houses the 2 steel units. And we had the electrical and general contractors in there. And so the good news is that the general account came in under budget, but the electrical did not. And so it pretty much washes out. So it's for the cost of the overall project. Also on old business, want to give you an update on the status of the loan from sewer to water. As you know, we received some funding from federal money to spend on capital projects from the COVID money. And we chose to, as a board, to put it toward the water replacement project. And the only bad news was that it comes in 2 payments, one this year, one next year. We already received the first payment, and we received the first billing for the water upgrade project of like in today's vouchers of $400,000. That's in there, and that's about half of the billing price. So we wanted to pay cash for this project. So in order, until the money comes in next year for the other half of the COVID money, we are taking money out of a fund from the sewer, and we're letting the water department loan it, and we have to take it as a loan. And we called Municipal Solution, who's our financial consultant for this project. And based on, we have to charge at least what we would get from a bank. The bank right now is only charging interest for 0.25, and the going market value for a loan is 0.5 to 1% for a municipal account. So we're going to charge ourselves, we're going to have a 0.5 interest rate when we borrow the money from sewer to water, and then
Half a percent.
at half a percent point, yeah, half of 1%, that's correct. And then when that COVID money comes in, we'll pay it back, and it'll be done with it with no penalties for paying off early. So this is just a legal thing we have to do when our bond lawyer is drafting up the paperwork. Last month, we approved the permissive referendum. And so, Rick, are we able to spend that money now? It's been past the limited amount of days for that.
Yeah, I'm looking that up. I gotta figure out. I forgot how many days. it is.
I thought it was 20 days. It one, what I thought it was. Once we advertised, we had 20 days from advertisement. So, but before we spend any money, I'll get permission from Rick to be able to spend that money. So we haven't spent it yet. So, and we won't need to until the final project is completed, which will be a month or two down the road. Okay. First resolution on today's agenda is to accept and approve the revised Town of Owasco fiscal management procurement and corrective action plan. So I got a motion for that.
So moved.
Okay, Timmy seconded it. All right, just so you know, we approved this last month, but inadvertently, we had 6 corrective action plans. We approved the first 3 last year. We didn't include the second 3. So when I submitted it to the state pointed that out. It said, where's the other 3? I said, oops. So we put that in there, and then to make it, I wanted to make sure the board was fully aware, because you didn't get a chance to see that last month. I forwarded out like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's in there. So the corrective action plan is open to the public. Anybody can see it, and then we'll put it in the state. We'll advertise it on their website as well.
So one of the corrective actions that, or one of the big things that we got hit on is not following our own policy, right? That you get a purchase order, the purchase order, to go through that process.
Yes.
So I'm looking through these and not seeing purchase orders, mostly from highway.
I noticed that.
Depending on what, this month we had, I don't know what's there, but things like when a truck gets a flat tire, we don't, it's during the side of the road.
Wouldn't it be, if we've got like, for instance, we've got a blanket purchase order at Lowe's for the county that says, up to this amount of money, we're authorizing for certain things.
Yep.
Shouldn't we do something for those kind of thing? I don't know, but I know that there's equipment here that there's no check and balance on. So that, and I think that's what we got taken to task for.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
and it's, we have to get our people in the habit of, if you need something, there's a process to go through that. And frankly, at some point, you got to say, I'm not paying it until that's done,
You're gonna get dinged again.
Yeah, because we're basically thumbing our nose at the audit. Okay, we're going to say we're going to correct this, but we're not really going to do it. If we're going to say we're going to correct it, we need to correct it. And if we're getting, and I don't care if it's from water or highway or the clerk's office or your office or whoever, if we're buying stuff, we need to be going through the correct process.
From when I've looked through there, I think most of the stuff that was there, that was needed was done with purchase offers, but the emergency ones were not.
I saw a few of those in there that probably should have had POs.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get it handed to us if we're not doing what we're supposed to do.
Yep.
And the idea is, if it's a legit emergency, then okay, but you know, we can't just call everything an emergency.
You go down to Empire Hardware, and it seems like they can even call from there and call Tammy and say, I need a PO number.
Or we just say, you know, I don't have any problem saying, you know, we've got a $2,000 purchase order for miscellaneous stuff that gets approved by Bruno or whoever. And at the end of that, you know, we do another one.
That way you have 1,000.
Yeah,
Right.
you know where who the vendors are that were
Right,
monthly spending money.
exactly.
For this bar, I have an open PO. They call it an open PO.
Right.
Yeah, you could charge it to PO number
It was a limit.
230.
It was an open PO.
And he knows it, and it's at 230 will work for me.
So on the corrective action plan. So is there any other discussion on that one? So is there anything in the corrective action plan that you want to change? That's, I guess, what the motion is.
No.
All right, so with that, all those in favor with the corrective action plan?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Well, that was me and
Timmy was, yeah, Timmy was first, I think Tony was second. And then, so motion carried. The next one, this is more of a, at the state of the Lake, City of Auburn is gonna pass a similar resolution, Town of Funds gonna pass a similar resolution. I mean, the resolution is to ask the state to make their process of approving or denying or changing the rules and regulations for the watershed rules more transparent and more public. Right now, we had a multi-jurisdictional process over a 3-year period to come up with the rules and regulations. We had large farms, small farms. We had watershed communities. We've had town board members. We've had a whole variety of ag and markets. Everybody participated in this process over a 3-year period. We had altogether about 6 public hearings. We had numerous probably 30 different meetings to discuss and go over rules and adopt these things. And there was a lot of give and take on this. So it was very transparent all along on our part. Now the state has sat on our proposal to adopt or to amend our process. And they just notified us recently that they're going to form a committee, and we're not even part of that committee. It's going to be ag and markets, it's going to be health department, it's going to be another department, and the people who have home rule and who have a stake at this, and we're legally responsible for the quality of drinking water. They're not even giving us an opportunity to sit at the table to discuss what we put together. And so this resolution is basically to ask them to set a timeline, not have it open-ended, which they already did, and also to give us a seat at the table. And also to make it more transparent and inclusive and have the timeline so that we can, so that not only board members, but the community knows what's going on. So that's what this resolution is. So can I get a motion for discussion?
so moved.
Second.
Tony, then Mike, and then any discussion on this resolution?
Just for purposes of consistency.
Yep.
I'm gonna vote no. I just wanted to explain, because I voted no on the original rules because I didn't think that it was it addressed some of the issues that the farmers brought up and the agricultural community brought up. And that's that's my,
We
my
were at-
reasoning moving
We
forward.
were at the city hall.
Yeah.
Well, then I have time to convince you otherwise, because they were part of the
Oh.
thing, and they at the last minute, like the day before, they called and tried to strong arm many of us to change our minds after we did 3 years of their negotiating, and they come up at the last minute. So, and it was I'll have time to talk to you individually to convince you otherwise. So we have a motion in a second. We're gonna do a roll call. Tammy?
Councilman Cachardi,
Yes,
Councilman Kerstetter,
Yes.
Councilman Vitale,
Yes,
Councilman Supervisor Wagner.
Yes.
I wa-
oh,
I was a no, but you already got me
Oh, I
first,
already
right?
wrote you no, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Councilman Cornelius?
Yeah.
already here.
I already wrote you no.
Okay, the next thing is in the matter of a proposed extension for the town of Owasco Sewer District Number 3. Basically, we have a resident that failed their septic test, and the health department is going to mandate that they, if there's a sewer available, that they extend to that instead of replacing the septic. And so in order for us to, we have to legally advertise and do a public hearing to extend the sewer district. So this is just a motion for us that we're gonna get a petition, that we're gonna do a public hearing. We'll probably do it at next month's board meeting to extend the sewer district. And then once we open them, we close the public hearing, then we can vote on having it. Also, that you should be aware of, in order to extend the sewer district, we have to get permission from the city of Auburn to extend any district. So for us, I already sent an email. I talked to Seth Jensen personally today. He's agreeable. I copied Rick on the request for him to give us written permission to extend the district. So we have that covered. And then once we get the petition, we have the public hearing, we extend it, then the engineering has to be done. And then the health department, the sewer, I'm sorry, for sewer, it's DEC, and then for water, it's the health department. So the DEC will get involved to approve the connection of the sewer district, which, makes more sense, because if their septic's failing, all that means, all a septic system does is collect the solids, and all the nutrients go right into the lake. So it's better for the environment, better for everybody. And the health department's going to mandate it. And they're responsible for overseeing the operations, but the DEC is the one that oversees the permission.
so the other houses along Rockefeller will be mandated to hook up?
I have a map right here.
No, I just see,
yeah.
I see the number,
Yeah.
that's all.
First, back when this was formed, they were left out because some people didn't want it. And if you look across the street from where this property is, those people are across the street. They have a lot of acreage. Their septics did not fail, and they were there. And at the time, it was a decision by the engineers and the board who approved it, the map plan and report, that to leave them out, because the estimated cost of extending for about 4 houses was going to be another $1 million
Oh.
because of the location and the sparkness, how separated they were out. So to save $1 million just to gather 2 or 3 or 4 more houses wasn't worth the cost of the expansion at that time. So the way it works out now is this resident, when they bought their house, they had one of their lots, which is adjoining that lot, is already part of the sewer district. So they can possibly either merge those 2 lots together, or they can keep them separate, but they're going to have to do an easement to that one property they already own to connect to the sewer, which is approximately 150 to 100 yards away from, so there'll be a pressurized system, grinder pump. It just gets pumped down. It probably doesn't need a grinder pump, but it's a low pressure system. It has to be a grinder pump. So therefore, they're going to have to do that
So his cost will be from his house to the vacant lot.
from his house
To the grinder pump.
to the pump, to the grinder
I'm sorry,
pump,
Yeah, no.
to
yeah,
the grinder pump. Yes.
From the main to the grinder pump, yes.
That's, yep.
And then he has to pay himself, and then.
Yeah.
he connects himself.
So that was my question that I didn't understand. So our cost for this
Yeah.
is from the main to the pump. or no?
The,
How's it? I'm trying to figure out what our
Yeah,
cost.
our cost should be basically zero because, and they would pay a hookup fee to which is supposed to cover the average
Is the
cost
line,
of
Yes.
hooking some, of having our highway department
Hmm.
hook up from the main to somebody's house.
is the line in the vacant lot now?
no, there's nothing there now.
So you gotta bring it to the vacant lot?
Yeah.
From where?
From their house, which is right next door, right there. I use a map right
Right
there.
here, I'll show
From
you.
the house?
Yeah, the house, yeah.
Right here, I'll show you.
Oh, so you're going from the house,
So,
well, from the vacant
no, I'll
lot.
show you, and Ed's seen this, and, yeah. So this is the proposed, this is the house that's petitioning to be part of it, right here.
Right, okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
They own this vacant lot.
Right,
They
which
pay-
is in the sewer district.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So and the orange is the sewer line is somewhere in the Denman
Right.
Cove.
Yep.
So it's gotta come like that to hook up.
Right, we're gonna have to put it up to this point here, then he picks it up and brings it to the house. Right?
Yes.
Because this is in the sewer district.
Well, they
Yeah,
merged,
but they have to pay for the hookup fee, which
Oh,
I
it'll be
think,
a hookup fee.
yes, I think the average cost is 1,700.
yeah,
It's, so
So he could've done
the
it
board would have to
before.
decide that after the public
He
hearing.
could have done it before. If you wanted to.
on the vacant lot.
Yeah, on the vacant lot.
Yes, yeah. Yep. And we gotta be consistent with this because.
Yes,
Because what happened was, Patrick Doyle had an empty lot on Rockefeller Road. And he wanted to be included in that, and they had to set aside a grinder pump for him because he's paying the taxes on it and the O and M on it. And so although it was vacant, he paid that. And so these people are paying a half a unit right now on it because it's an empty lot, same as
Right.
Patrick, so they're part of the district, so they've been paying the cost based on how we, the map plan and report, how we set it up.
we talked about that.
Yep.
Well, he's gonna save a lot of money. They're not updating his septic system.
Yep, and it's gonna be better for everybody. Any other questions on this particular resolution? Hearing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
That's motion carries unanimous. Next resolutions are the budget modification if they're self-prepared.
I'll make a motion for those for discussion.
Timmy made the motion.
Second.
Second for Fred. Any comments or concerns?
What are we teaching Tammy how to do? Says town clerk training.
I don't know. Ask her. That was just a line item that's in here. You're taking money out or put money in.
Oh, she wants to take the money out.
Taking, oh yeah, she's taking, we're taking training away from you.
Yeah.
Probably because we're not using it.
See what she put in there.
Yeah.
Because the clerk, they canceled it this year.
Well,
Mm,
this is old, this is old budget.
It
Yeah,
was,
she's
it was
got
in
to
April.
clean it out.
It
Yeah.
was in April, they canceled it, but I was able to take 2 online courses, the 2 or 3 earlier that I did pay for out of that. So she probably figures the end of the year I might not take anything. I need to see that.
She's just cleaning her books up.
Yeah, for example, when she took money, they, like black dioxide, we had a terrible smell last year. And
Yeah.
what we found out, we weren't putting enough in. So we're like tripling the usage of dioxide. And when we did the budget last year, we didn't know that was gonna be how much we're gonna need. So we're taking something from someplace else and just putting it into that account to pay for it. So the stuff that we're not using, it could be summer labor, it could be whatever it may be. So that's the budget mods. Any other questions on that? Feel free to call Darcel anytime on these budget modifications.
Yeah.
That goes for you, the folks on the computer. Call Darcel and she'd be happy to discuss that. So with that being said, all those in favor, the budget mods?
aye.
Motion carried. Next one is the audit and payment of claims. I get a motion for that. Okay, Timmy second. So anybody have any questions?
Just as a for instance, not to beat a dead horse, but
You are, but go ahead.
hydro seeding does not seem like an emergency
Nope.
thing to me.
Oh,
$4,427.
That's from the county. Or the
No,
four
we-
H or the soil and water does that for us.
So I don't know, I don't think I don't know if they did that one or not.
Right, yeah.
One of them
Cuyahoga
did.
County
Yeah, soil and water.
Soil and Water,
State-
but
can't- Yeah, so, yeah, it's not emergency.
Usually your Darcel will note that it's no PO.
well, the fact is that there should be a PO.
Well, but she must, she's really good about keeping track of who doesn't provide the PO.
Well,
Well,
We-
he's-
no,
I think what
it's
Fred's
our-
saying, we're gonna
we-
get burned.
we provide the PO.
No, I know, but she monitors the PO before
Yeah.
she. No.
Because there's,
Well, actually, she really doesn't even see those till she goes and does the check today. So my office gets the invoice, and if there's a PO, we attach the PO and
Right.
create a voucher. We have to create vouchers for all invoices that come in.
right,
So Darcel doesn't really know there was an appeal for that until she sits tomorrow and does the checks. She hasn't seen all these vouchers. She may see it in the program, but not seen who has what there, to tell you the truth. So
okay.
Yeah, so
You know,
Frank, I would make a recommendation. Why don't you call Bob and just,
Yeah.
he
I've talked to him 1,000 times, maybe.
should go 100% and forget about it, stop, you know.
Well,
wouldn't
this is one of those things that, and we've talked about it, a million times. The reality of it is the highway department needs a bookkeeper that, or some administrative person that does this for Bob.
With that new person we're gonna bring on board, that could be one of his jobs to make sure all
You know what I
this
mean?
is
Yeah.
correct.
I haven't checked civil service, see if anybody applied for that yet, so we do
Is it
have
I
it.
know, Frank,
advertised.
that's
Is it out there?
It's out there, yeah.
overdue.
So where do
Absolutely,
they go to
because
civil
this
service?
is, he shouldn't be worrying about this stuff.
Right.
This
You're
is-
right.
This is,
Yeah,
this
that's-
is,
you
this-
can't- you
he's
can't
not,
do it.
he's not a bookkeeper, he's a highway supervisor
And
that
he's
that
proven he
knows how to,
can't do it.
that there's things that Bob's great at, like all of the work stuff, but this stuff he's not.
So
They've been down the street here for
We should
what,
take care
3
of it.
days now, they're busting their chops
Yeah.
over there.
So,
Yeah.
all right,
So remind me to give you an update on that too.
Okay.
Okay, so with the payment of claims, all those in favor, why don't you do roll call, Tammy?
Councilman Cornelius,
I'm gonna say no.
Councilman Gucciardi.
Yes.
Councilman Kerstetter,
Yes.
Councilman Vitale.
Yes.
Supervisor Wagner.
Yes.
Okay, get the bills paid.
And then before we adjourn, I just want to give you an update on in the last 2 weeks, we've had 2 basements on Owasco Road flooded with sewage. And it was a direct cause from the contractors when they were putting in the water line that they cut through the drain pipe and a couple sewer lines. And the contractor, and we do have the clerk of the works on site, and he caught many of them, but because when they were pressurizing the main line and they were backfilling, and they have 2 different crews going at once, he goes back and forth between 2 different spots. So when these people dug through, they never reconnected the sewer line to the main, their lateral to the main sewer line, and then they filled it in, and then these people's basements got flooded. The first time the homeowner called Bianco Plumbing, and Bianco Plumbing came and discovered it. I was there when I took pictures and made the contractor aware of it. And what will probably end up happening is we will pay Bianco their fee, and then we will deduct that fee from the final payment for that expense of repairing the line. This time it happened on, and this time we thought that this neighbor two doors south of the first one, they had a drain pipe they thought was causing their flooding. And so, and the contractor did replace, they did put a PVC pipe into a perforated pipe that I thought was a cob job, but because it's under low pressure, really, technically it doesn't matter, but it worked. but they thought that's what the problem was. So I asked Bob to go down with his crew and run a camera in the line. He did. But we corrected that situation. We made it right, and we did a professional job. Bob did a professional job repairing that drainage line. But then 3 days, and what happened originally was the flooding happened the day after that 7 inches of rain. So we just assumed it was from that.
Mhm.
And then after we repaired that drainage line, on Monday, I got the phone call from the resident after, a week of fixing the storm line, that their basement had inches of raw sewage. Their son was in the shower and water was just coming, sudsy water was coming up from the
Sure,
floor
cut the
drain.
line in half.
They cut the line in half, and they filled it with dirt and blocked it, and that's what happened. And so Bob went down there, and I have pictures I can show you, that there was two lines, one from the neighbors to the one, so it'd be 3 in a row. There was a Y coming in, and one was from the neighbor, the second house. The neighbor there only had his washing machine and something else hooked up, a shower that they don't use down in the basement, hooked up to that sanitary sewer, and the main sewer line for this other house connected, went into a Y, and they severed both of them, never replaced it. So Bob, and it was just perfectly the same height as the main water line. So Bob actually had to go back about 30 feet to get the pitch to go under the sewer, under the new water line, in order to connect it to and he's been there for 3 days.
Yeah, you've been there all of that.
Trying to, we've had 5 guys there for 3 days. And so again, we can back charge the contractor for time, material, and equipment that our men have been there.
That's a problem with
Fix it.
directional boring.
The
You don't know
contractor
what
didn't
you're
want
gonna
It
to
get.
wasn't directional.
It wasn't directional.
No, it was open dig.
The contractor did not want to fix these items.
Well, it
themselves.
was an emergency. So, and I contacted the engineer. I think he made them aware of it. And they weren't even working here this week because
Yeah, I don't think they've been around.
the reason why they haven't been around is because they didn't get the permission yet from the health department because they had you had to have 2 successful chlorination tests passed before you can start hooking up drinking water to people's houses. They had 1 pass, 1 failed. So they had to go back and retest and do 2 more tests. And they had to wait for those test results to come back. And because the director of the health department is not in the office this week, she couldn't approve it. Therefore, they had to wait a week. And so that's why they haven't been around this week. And so,
Seems like she'd have a deputy that could do that.
well, and the deputy
COVID.
the deputy who's brand new, because the one had been there for a long time, just took a job for like $30,000 more. Mary
Mhm.
Jump took a job with Seneca County, Seneca County, and made 30,000. She made $30,000 more for doing less work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
Not
don't
a
blame her.
bad gig.
Don't blame her for going over there, but same thing happened with the Cuyahoga County assessor.
The assessor,
She
gone.
left and went and got more money for less work, and she can work from home. So, so
So Matt's aware of all this.
Matt's aware of everything. He said back charge them because it was emergency, it had to get fixed because the people had raw sewage in their basement. And I got
And he's
pictures,
doing the email notifications or
Yep,
whatever. He's
yep.
doing. Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay.
so that's what I want to make everybody aware of, what has been going on, why they've been down there for so long, what's been happening. So it's not just one house, but it's 3 houses actually that had the problem. And so that's it. So,
Hope there's no more.
yeah. So, does anybody have any questions?
Now, I just want to clarify, I didn't mean we do the PO, they do the PO, we just put it, staple it to it.
Yeah, we
didn't
knew,
think we were supposed to, okay,
not your job.
right.
Okay, so I don't have anything else. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Is it tonight?
Thank you.
All over, baby.
It's all over. It's still in the newspaper. Still in the newspaper. That's why I asked.
Hang on.
But tonight's the last night for each other?
No,